Hello and welcome back, and today I want to talk about the comparison of mobile apps. I want to compare one of the two core applications from Synology and QNAP. Namely, I want to look at QManager for QNAP and DS Finder for Synology. And what I mainly want to look at is what is better suited to your needs, because we've talked about before, Synology and QNAP have very different ideas about what their NAS is for and the way you should be getting into a NAS. Synology tried to keep things as simple as possible, trying to give you as few options to tinker with, but giving you, most people agree, a much more user-friendly platform in terms of user interface and what the device can do. QNAP, on the other hand, have gone for a slightly, and I do mean slightly, more technical outlook with theirs, with all of their applications, and particularly QManager. It gives you a much more analytical approach whereby you've got a huge overview of different individual apps, all the system information, hardware resources, and generally, you know, the QNAP NAS is aimed at those people with a pinch more technical nous than their Synology opponents. Now, the Synology application, once you open it up, it breaks down the options very small. It's got update settings, storage, quick connect, and basically the very default items. You can switch to look at individual apps, and it gives you a little bit of information there, but not too much to be overwhelmed. QManager from QNAP lets you list multiple QNAP apps that are on your local area network. The settings menus are a lot more analytical. There's a lot more information about individual files, a lot easier setup of the internet level access to your QNAP NAS. And once again, Windows users will definitely vibe with the QNAP app a little bit more because the settings are a lot more detailed. But going back to the Synology one, however, because the Synology one keeps things as simple as possible, the result is that there isn't, it's not overwhelming at all. And if you're completely new to NAS, you will find that the DS Finder application from Synology definitely vibes better for you. It is very much aimed at the person that doesn't want to get their hands dirty and just wants to, start the NAS, look around the NAS. There's even a great option with DSM where you can, via the Synology app, actually go into the full Disk Station Manager desktop. But it's quite flaky, and I wouldn't say it's that reliable. It's a great option. I wish QNAP had that, but unfortunately they don't. Now, the QNAP application is far more imposing. I hope you can see that on screen right now. The QNAP app is straight away kind of giving you all the technical information, the CPU temperature, drive health, how long the device has been on, the upload, download, Ethernet, and more. It gives you far more analytical information from the off. But of course, both of them give you options like restarting, shutting down, and updating your NAS from afar. Both of them let you get real-time information about your device, although once again, far more analytical on the QNAP device. And if that matters to you, then you're definitely going to enjoy that more. The Synology app does give you better access to multiple apps, I would go as far as to say. The Synology does let you not only get through to that version of DSM, kind of web-based version of DSM, but on top of that, better management of individual apps. You do not have a great deal of control over those individual apps, but there's still no denying it. You do have a better scope of applications on a Synology NAS, whereas the QNAP NAS mobile app, QManager, once again, although it doesn't cover lots and lots of apps, the ones that it does and the areas that it covers are far more analytical and detailed. So you can configure things in a very bespoke manner with the QManager application, whereas the Synology one is kind of what it says on the tin, QFinder. I mean, if we look at the QNAP one real quick, we can see the applications that we've installed, and we can disable or enable applications as we want, but you can't do a great deal more than that. You can install other applications too, but once again, not exactly, you can't do anything with them. You can't tinker with them. Going back to the Synology one, however, it is worth mentioning that the Synology application has a far more recent version, and each of the Synology applications do differ greatly. When we go through the music and the photo apps and more, you will see the Synology individual apps do feel a lot more separate, whereas the QNAP one seems to have repeated a similar formula and added and removed options with regard to different apps. But nevertheless, that is comparing of the management apps for Synology and QNAP. My advice to you, if you are thinking of getting hold of a Synology or QNAP NAS, and you're wondering which one has the best apps for you, again, we're going to keep coming back to this, and I will try to, really focus on different bits. But the QNAP application, there's no denying it, although it's more technical, it does give you more information. And when I say technical, I do mean the tiniest pinch of technical knowledge. The Synology one is so user-friendly. The apps, like the Synology itself, DSM is very, very user-friendly indeed. And if you are intimidated by NAS and you don't want to go into this with a slight sense of trepidation, then chances are you're going to want to go for the Synology thanks to DS Finder. We will be looking at DS Photo and Q Photo, DS Audio and Q Music, and all the other applications and facing off against one another. And don't forget that each of these applications has been individually reviewed on this channel, so do check those out if you want to look at them and hear about them all individually, not a comparison. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.